Crowd of boys. Peace. What's good with you boys out there? Come to talk to you boys today about semen retention and the charged up ego. And before I jump into this topic, I just want to thank all who have subscribed for your love and support for the content of this channel. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to this content and make sure you like the content. Really tap in on what's going on this side of the semen retention dimension of where I talk about various things other than your normal semen retention audios or videos that's out there. Little twists that I put on things, topics that I touch on that I don't really see myself a lot on the YouTube platform. Mostly everything is just your general information, woman attraction, until you really dive deeper and wanting to find out more about yourself, doing more work on yourself as a man, and veering away from what's kind of like mainstream, if you will. And this is not no slight to any other content creators who help the cause of semen retention and do their own studying and give their own knowledge and experiences on their part. But just the way I put my spin on things and talk about certain topics and go more in depth, to try to set myself apart from what's already out there. All right. The numbers don't signify what knowledge I have and wisdom and how I maneuver through this world and what I have acquired and share on my channel. It is what it is. But understand that those who have connected and are connected to this content and to this channel and who can relate, we are a group and we are here to support each other. Drop something in the comments, share your experiences. I always encourage that. And not just to, uptick the numbers on the views and stuff like that, but to also share you guys' experiences. And this is vital information that as men that we need along this journey. With all that said, I'm going to jump into this topic and talking about the charged up ego. And this is your new built up ego. And this is specifically talking to those guys and those who have reached plateaus on their semen retention journeys of long streaks. And a good long streak is at least 72 days to 90 days, which is around 3 months, 2.5 months to 3 months, to really get a grasp upon yourself, real full control for real, over your mind, body, and spirit. Once again, I don't like counting days. I don't like, keeping track of the days. I just like being in the flow state and just living day by day how it comes. All right, not focusing so much on the days and how much I'm up to. For me personally, it just works out better. But I've reached a plateau of being able to do that. Some guys need to set those goals for themselves to reach 30 days, to reach 45 days, to reach 60 days. So I understand it's a grind. But for me, honestly, when I reached my first 90 days, my first time really going on a long streak was 110 days to be exact. And I was tracking down the days. All right. Then my second go around, I reached another 90 days. And then my longest streak, where I reached a year plus, I didn't count. I just was on my grind, doing what I had to do, started doing content, and just flowed with it. All right. But understand that the reason why I'm talking to guys and saying specifically guys who have reached long streaks and hit that 90 days plus, all right, is because you at one point had to starve your ego, which was connected to lust and pleasures, all right, meaningless sex, or just releasing your energy, all right? We have all been there. That's why we're on this journey. But when we started at a ground base, our ego, we needed to feed our ego to say that we needed to release at some way or another, whether it was through masturbation or dealing with females, until we really put all jokes aside all right, and put all the playing aside and really jumped on this journey for ourselves and for our betterment. We starved that ego that once told us that we needed this type of pleasure. We needed females in our life to talk to and to be with and to have sex with, to have girls in rotation, or to release our energy to pornography or whatever the case may be, right? That was our ego telling us that we needed that dopamine hit to survive. But now we have this new built-up ego. And this ego that we have built up through our semen retention journey is a new, defined, and divine ego that when we reach these days of, I'm going to just start off here with 90 plus days, 100 days, all right, 120 days, 150. All right, when you really start getting into depths of semen retention, and as I spoke on previous audios, we talk about being in isolation, being set apart. Not just dealing with women, but now overall, you can't even deal with people for real. In general, all right, men and women. Family members, all that included, friends. You start to really set yourself apart, but this is a new built-up ego where you kind of set yourself apart. And if you get too far into this new built ego, it can cause you to veer off into a channel where you don't want to be alone or lonesome. All right, you can find yourself in loneliness. And this can be an ego where you feel like you don't need nobody. You don't want to deal with nobody. You don't have no friends, and you can kind of build up this false facade that you don't have nobody in your corner that could relate to you or be with you on the same level. And that's kind of the dangers when you run into building up this ego, especially if you have reached certain plateaus and you have found a new spiritual journey, thinking different, moving different, having a different mindset. You can close yourself off from people, and this can close up your heart chakra, not being open to what's out there in the universe and getting real experiences on your semen retention journey. Your new built ego isn't built up out of something that has a foundation of negative energy, and that's the key part that you must understand. This is being built up off of pure recognizance of your own volition, will, and your desires being shifted into new energy that's for yourself. You're being selfish at this point. But now you don't want to be too selfish to a point where you just are closed off. All right. This new built ego, this new self, you have discovered parts of yourself that you have flaws in, i.e. the masturbation, giving your energy away freely. All right, watching pornography once again. And I don't want to trigger anybody, but these are some of the things that guys deal with, the urges. All right. This new built ego, when you have starved that old self and that old way of thinking, you have this new, once again, defined person that you are now. All right, being geared by semen retention. Okay, your ego is now being restored into something more positive. It's not coming from a place of that lustful spirit or that urge or wanting to see what you can get up out of a situation. All right, specifically talking about females, seeing if you can get sex from her, how easy it is. You're coming from a place of not wanting to go down that route. Your ego is telling you something different. All right, so when I speak on the new built ego and the dangers of it, understand that this is not something to be wary of or worry about, because you are in isolation or you may feel lonely and you go through certain phases or certain plateaus where you may feel, once again, alone, by yourself, set apart from everybody. All right. Understand this is just a period of time. And when that time ends and certain things present itself, you have to take advantage of those times. What this requires is courage, trusting in yourself, being confident. All right. Having courage is very important on this journey. And this is build up courage and self-confidence through semen retention that you build up. You just have to channel that energy into it. Being brave enough to willing to go through certain heights and certain plateaus of the journey of reaching certain days to be able to obtain certain benefits that are true on this journey. The ego is something that we cannot escape. It's a part of us, is what we have. But something that we can do as a part of ourselves is kill the ego, or once our former selves. And that's what we aspire to do on this journey. You just have to be brave enough to be willing to change. And that's what it takes. It takes change. And if you aren't willing to change your habits, your behaviors, you won't be successful in the semen retention journey. You won't reach the long streets and certain plateaus of seeing yourself change, seeing yourself morph and transmute into a higher being, into your higher self. The ego death is very, very important, especially if you are just starting out on this journey. Once again, guys who have been on that long streak, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Your mindset has shifted. Your physical body has shifted. And hopefully your spirit, you have been in touch with your soul on this journey if you have hit long streaks and done the work where you can feel your spirit shift. Having heightened awareness, spiritual awareness. The thing about this ego, this new built ego, all right? And if you guys are catching this audio and you aren't at the certain plateaus that I'm talking about, the 40, the 45 days, the 60 days, 90 days, benchmark or goal, don't worry. Aspire to be there. See, I'm here to not only, it takes some courage to come on this platform and share, right? And I've had to get over that feat and have courage. And that's what I use that type of desire and vigor towards, to be able to come to this platform and get over the fears of being heard and people judging me and how I sound and how I say things. I don't care about that. All right. What's most vital is the information. It takes courage to just say, whatever you got to say in the comments that's negative and continue forward. All right. But I come here to encourage you guys, you boys out there that need the help. So if you're starting off 2 weeks, you feel what I'm saying, 7 days or whatever the case may be, you just started today. It is what it is. I'm here to encourage you. Go through the archives of these audios to help you, man. It's been helping a lot of guys. All right, don't let the numbers fool you. You dig what I'm saying? And that's why I encourage guys to drop the comments and, share their experiences, because that draws more attention to guys wanting to stay the course. All right, be encouraged. And I'm just being encouraging to you guys to jump on this journey and better yourselves. But understanding that to get to this point of having this type of courage and willing to come on, I've came from a place of having to put my ego aside of, wanting to curse out certain people in the comments and engage with negative comments in a certain way. But that's my ego wanting to prove something to someone or to the platform that I could hold my own. I don't need, I could be witty too, and I could joke around. I've done it at times too when I had the time, but that had to take some looking at myself and understand that everybody doesn't deserve that time and attention and those words who come and shed negative light, especially on the content, to feed my ego, to get people on my side. I don't need that. So even life after semen retention, you still need to starve your ego. This new build-up ego, you still need to have control over it, because you can think you're all high and mighty because you're 120 days in and the energy feels great. I understand. You're using affirmations. You're telling yourself certain things, but understand there's humility and being humble still upon this journey. And you will have to go through humbling experiences. You will have to use humility on this journey. You once have to starve your ego from that sexual pleasure, that sexual desire, that part of yourself that was telling you that you needed that. But now, if you have reached a plateau and you're on this journey, there's another ego death. to realize to who you have become now. Once again, this part of your ego can drive you to be an egomaniac. Think too highly of yourself. Too much in that self-confidence energy can turn into bragging and boasting, being conceited. It's one thing to know you're handsome and know you a masculine man, but then to start to exercise certain powers that not just separate you, but you are looking for people who you stand out with. And you look down on those people. Not everyone who jumps on semen retention has good intentions with it. So that's why I'm just putting this out there, and then it can drive you through a course of being a little off with your masculine energy. Watch your ego. All right. A lot of the times it's not coming from a place of negativity, but if we talk a certain way around people, people can take that as that we think we are better than others. You already have a glow. You already have an aura. You already walk with confidence. The energy itself speaks for itself. But when you start to speak and say certain things to people, all right, and if it's coming from a place of, you being all high and mighty, thinking that you're better because you have this energy, you might want to be careful, because there are jealous, envious people out here, and they want you for your energy. So check your ego on this journey. Very important. All right. It's one thing, like I said, to have the awareness of people that you are around and engage with people. And, it's important to shed your light upon the people with your energy. But be careful also, man. That's why I talk about protection also. All right. Be careful of who you share your energy with. And if people draw too close to you and it doesn't sit right with you, man, try to avoid it the best that you can. But understand that your ego can, get you into a little bit of trouble, because you become a target. You're already your target. You're already magnetized on this journey. But understand that it can draw too much attention. And that's what you want to check your own self for. The more you talk, the more attention you put on yourself. So, choose wisely of who you talk to, who you deal with, who you share your energy with, who you share this information with. You guys can take my information and take the knowledge and the ism that comes along with it and use it in your daily lives and talk to other people around you. But understand that those people start to look at you a little bit different. Sometimes you don't want to let everybody know the secret to your sauce. You dig? Before I leave you guys, real quickly, when I say that, something that just popped in my mind, I'm done with my notes in this topic, but something that popped in my mind as far as sharing, the secret to the sauce, that semen retention being the gearing force to really have, life about yourself, using that life force energy to be vibrant, to vibrate different. You dig what I'm saying? I've shared it with people on a, level where I knew that I couldn't take it to certain depths. I just put it out there as simple as something that, I'm not focused on sex or not having sex right now. So, in a lower vibrational person's mind, they would think, oh, he's probably just, jerking off. You feel what I'm saying? He's probably just wagging himself off. He's content, whatever case may be. But, I've had people, kind of ask me that question, like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, nah, I don't do that at all. I'm good. You feel what I'm saying? And I kind of get, where the person's mindset is, where first goes to when you tell them like you're celibate, basically. You don't tell them you're on semen retention or NoFap or whatever. You either say you're celibate or, you're not sexually active. Right? So people will assume. But when you start to really talk to a person, and you get beyond that, having to have pleasure, and you kind of put it out there like, nah, it's not that serious to where I have to get a nut off, or, being that I'm not entertaining no females, that I have to be doing something else to myself. Like, nah, that's not the case. I got too much going on to be worried about that. I got goals. I got aspirations I need to reach. And certain people that I've shared it with, and one was a close family member of mine. It was a cousin. And I shared with him early on, what I was on, what type of time I was on. And I can tell not almost the weakness kind of come out through his words of what his response was. But it was kind of like he deemed me as almost like a charity case, if you will, like being that I wasn't, like I couldn't find a girlfriend or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? So it was like, man, he felt bad and would like try to set me up. And it's a long story. I don't want to be too long. I just want to stay on the topic. But I'm using that example of not giving him the secret of why I was doing it. It wasn't because in his mind, based on the demographic and, a lot of other things that played ties into why I'm not actively looking for a girlfriend or need to get pleasure in that certain aspect, or trying to set me up with, a friend or a cousin or, somebody that he was dealing with. It was coming from a place of, pity and stuff like that. And I told him, like, when I sensed it, it was like, don't feel sorry for me because I don't have a girlfriend and I choose to live this lifestyle. Like, bro, I got goals and aspirations right now that I gotta reach that requires my focus. Getting pussy or, excuse the expression, but, getting a nut off isn't that serious to the point where I need it right now. And, expressing it to him like that, he kind of understood. But when he began to talk and try to, say certain things, I'm like, bro, like if that's what you harp on and that's your fear of not having a rotation of females and stuff like that, because that's what he's putting on there, like, having a rotation. I'm like, listen, bro, like that requires a lot of time and attention that I don't have. I'm running a full-on business right now, and the last thing I need is a rotation, not just one female, but a rotation of females to have to deal with. So once again, you start to stand out in mindset of certain guys and people around you. And it's very important that you understand that, you still engage in a certain way, and you use your wit and you use your wisdom, that what you have, to get you through those certain situations when people kind of, veer off from your path and tell you what they think you should do. Or they think having sex or having women in your life is that much important. If that's important to them, then that's important to them. Whatever is important for you, you have to find that out on your own. Most of the time, it doesn't include women. I'm going to be honest. It includes you and you yourself. Get yourself right. With all that said, my boys, I hope y'all enjoyed this topic. Check your egos, man, at all times. Check yourself. All right? Do a check-in every now and then on yourself. Once again, practicing gratitude is very important. It's a humbling, is something humbling. Appreciate what you have in the moment and be humble for it. All right. With all that said, I'll leave y'all with that. As always, with love and peace.